Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the channel. I'm Zester, and I'm actually extremely excited today to be able to introduce everyone to someone I'm certain that you've already heard of, but someone I'm really, really excited to get to have an opportunity to chat with. The one, the only, Mel Carmine. How are you doing, Mel?
What's up, brother? You're become a legend. I'm following your dad's footsteps. It's not too hard to do. Your father's really built a nice little empire on the social media spectrum. That's for sure. I think everybody knows who Mark Z is at this point. Yeah. So
I'm
yeah,
pretty certain that everyone knows who Mel Carmine is. I would risk saying that. I'm pretty confident. I know I've been asked many a time. Do I know this guy named Mel Carmine? Have you ever heard about him?
I got guys like your father and I don't need a lot of guiding into getting into trouble. We do a pretty good job by ourselves.
Oh,
Believe me. Yeah.
on the YouTubes, the Rumbles, and everything else of the world, man. Y'all
Oh,
guys have professionalized that. They told you guys to, guidance counselors said, do what you're good at and what makes you happy. I think they might have should have been a little bit more specific because
yeah.
we are
Yeah.
definitely professionals at getting in trouble with the status quo.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like to talk a lot. I like to talk a lot about the manipulation and the transference of wealth and the amount of energy that they are literally exacerbating to try and hold back because they don't want guys that look like you and me to have our hands on true wealth. I mean, wealth that's probably going to dwarf what we knew what was wealth in the past in the third dimensional world that we're about to graduate out of. And it's amazing to see the amount of effort that they're really putting on this to make sure that the little people don't get their fair share. And there's people right now that have literally reached, I don't know how I would put this, I guess a point where they have to sell some of their XRP and some of their things that they've invested in to survive because they thought it was going to happen immediately. You know what I mean? And it didn't
Yep.
happen, even though it should have happened 2 years ago. I agree. Right. But it didn't because we're not supposed to get rich, I think, under this administration, to be quite honest with you.
I would have to agree. I would have to agree. No, I've heard the same stories, and it's same situation. I know I've been there. Looking back throughout the years, in terms of my cryptocurrency, there has often been times where, yeah, I had to sell things that I really did not want to sell. I know that they were going to be worth more. I knew it. Wasn't even a question. It wasn't
Yeah.
like maybe hypothetically or something. It was just a matter of the system had ground me down financially to the point where it was either I'll be walking around on the side of the road with a fortune in a bank account that I can't access, or I'll go ahead and I'll sell a little bit and I'll keep this train moving. I definitely I feel for folks on that one, and they've done it on purpose. And the suppression of XRP's price is something that has kept a lot of people in a bad situation because there is no logic behind XRP's current price point in the slightest. Ripple Labs can come out and put out the best news on the planet, and guess what? We're still going to be somewhere between 48 and 60 cents. It's like a guarantee. The amount of suppression on it reminds me a lot of silver in terms of the way that it is being held down. And I know there's so many folks that point fingers in regards to who's holding it back and everything else. That's one I'd be curious to kind of ask you, Mel, because I know you know so much about it. What's your take on why we see XRP, XLM just sitting inside of price ranges and they just can't seem to get out?
I think they have a volume setting on this thing, and they have the volume turned way, 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 way down at the very bare minimum that they can go, because they know that it can be cranked up as far as transactions per second, and it could be an astronomical number where it can accommodate the entire planet comfortably if it was 10 times the size that we are right now, according to estimates of 8 billion. So if we were 80 billion, we could accommodate 80 billion people moving money back and forth, no problem, without breaking a sweat in seconds. And so they have figured out how to keep the volume very, very low. The problem is that when the bankers realized that their goose was cooked and they tried to create a central bank digital currency, and they realized that everybody who's anybody was already working for Ripple, all the talent was gone. The talent pool is completely dry, right? and they realize their turkey's cooked, they slapped Ripple with a lawsuit to slow things down, to figure out how do we get ourselves on the blockchain. I think it's too little too late. I mean, Donald Trump has said it very clearly. There's not going to be a central bank digital currency. Have you heard him say the same thing, or am I hearing things?
Yeah. He was pretty clear about it. He was pretty clear about it, and everybody on the right in terms of the political spectrum right now, at least avoiding a few rhinos that are in the system, everybody that's awake, they are absolutely on that path of never and not once a central bank digital currency. And to me, that's that good and evil right there.
Right.
You know, when you hear people talking about a new financial system, we need to make things fair, we need to make things right. And then you hear people talking about central bank digital currencies. That to me is it's not one of the, it's good and evil. It's their way of kind of being able to have a conversation in public that would terrify everyone if they said the right words. If they said what was really going on in terms of that conversation and how important avoiding central bank digital currencies is, I think people would be listening more. The problem is they can't have that conversation in public. Otherwise, everybody would be panicking. It would be anarchy in the streets. It would be, if people realized the danger that centralized digital currencies pose, they would be livid. They'd be terrified.
Well, believe me, I know. I could tell you, and I'm sure the footage still exists out there of congressmen on the floor literally yelling to the top of their lungs, we got to get rid of Bitcoin. We got to get rid of digital assets, because they knew that their Ponzi scheme is over. You understand? In many respects. And so this is just look, we're moving into a world of high technical advancements in healing. We own the healing center in Cape Canaveral, Staying Alive. Now we spell it with 2 E's instead of 2 I's, 2 E's at the end, which stands for energy enhancement, by the way. And, we're moving into an era where technology is moving so fast that all of their Ponzi schemes are going to crumble right around their knees. And they realize that's why they're on the floor of Congress yelling to the top of their lungs, we got to stop this, because they can't no longer steal or screw the pooch, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like when I'm imagining the trust fund kid suddenly finding out that they have to budget, and they have to have a job and work for everything. It's kind of the way I feel like a lot of these politicians are reacting. It's childish. It's a childish degree of I can't believe you're taking my toys away. I can't believe you're doing it.
Exactly correct. Well said. Don't make me laugh, man. Are you a comedian? But anyway, needless to say, man, I'm really excited about you and your dad coming down to the Quantum Summit. We're having a Quantum Summit, guys, March 8th and March 9th. Zester and his father is going to be down as speakers as well. We got about 35 speakers coming down. It's going to be unbelievable what's going to happen. I mean, look, the reason why I think that the early bird special tickets are selling so fast right now is because people understand that we're moving into something where it's probably not going to be a summit at all. It's going to be a celebration of sort. You understand? Because we're going to win this war finally. And obviously once Trump is back in power, I think the XRP is not going to be worth 57 cents. I'm sorry to say. It'll be worth a lot more than that. I think the dinars, we might start to see, the revaluation of the paper currency in Iraq, in Venezuela, in Vietnam, to start to take place. So I think that's the reason why we believe it's going to turn out to be a massive celebration. Hence the reason why we got like all this kind of food that's like a high-end wedding, by the way. So we have a gala dinner, we have an hors d'oeuvres pool party. It's amazing. Karaoke, dancing, DJ, you name it. It's not just about a bunch of speakers on stage. It's about a celebration, which we're predicting that's what it's going to be.
Well, I know, Mel, I'm super excited for it. I'm super excited to be there. I know Pops is as well, and I'm hoping that it is a celebration. Now that you said karaoke, though, I do have to ask, Mel, what song are you singing during karaoke night?
I have a few songs that I'm practicing. As a matter of fact, I have a pretty wild karaoke machine right in the next room, and I'm gonna tear the roof off the place. But I'll let you sort of dwell on that. Which songs Mel Carmine might sing at?
Yeah, no, I just couldn't help. I didn't know though that you were stacking the deck and preparing ahead of time though, Mel.
Yes.
So that's another little one. Maybe there'll be some folks out there in the community that'll they're gonna start practicing their karaoke song for it. But I'm looking forward to hopefully having that celebration. I know that for so many, and I don't know if this is just a me thing, we just need to get back to logic and common sense and let people get back to being able to live a real and productive life where their work matters, where their money has value. You know, of course, I'm looking forward to having a lot more resources at my disposal as everything moves forward. But in all honesty, man, I would just be happy if money were real again and our lives were real again. In regards to the information we're consuming, the reality we live in, that's enough for me. And so,
but
I sure hope that's what's happening.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to get rid of all of the bad guys. We can't leave some of them to just, linger, simply because we don't want them to at some point figure out a way to come back and get us again. You understand? So we have to take out the trash completely. Okay. We got to be very efficient in taking out the trash, because I always say someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. You can't have two winners and you can't have two losers. They had the opportunity when Trump got in, because he was going to basically make a deal with them, say, listen, take your loot, get away, let us, bring the planet forward, allow us to bring the technology out, allow the digital currencies to thrive, allow the paper currency to reevaluate, etc. Go take your billions and trillions and quadrillions that you stole from all of us. We'll leave you alone if you leave us alone. They had that opportunity. They refused it.
Mm-hmm.
And now Trump has that song with the opera singer, Nessun dorma, which means in Italian, don't go to sleep, motherfuckers. You understand? Don't go to sleep. Okay, he's sending you a message. And then he plays the song Ave Maria, which is usually a song that they play at the cemetery when they're burying somebody. That means he's going to come after you and he's going to bury you.
There's a lot of messaging. I feel like I know that I always do. And sometimes I hear about them. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can see it. But you do have to start to wonder when some of them are so blatant. You're like, this isn't really messaging. This just seems more like you're telling me. It doesn't really feel like they're even hiding a lot of these conversations. They brought so much out into the forefront, but they're still hiding it to some degree.
Yes.
I don't think that people are ready yet to really have a conversation about making the changes necessary. At least universally ready. I know a lot of us are very ready to have that conversation. There's still folks with a lot of power, a lot of influence, and a lot of wealth that really enjoy the way the current system works. The petrodollar, the fiat system has done them and their families very, very well, and they're going to spend that fortune they've acquired trying to ensure that the system continues to be rigged in their favors. And that's not an easy mountain to climb. This is a David and Goliath. I feel like we are David, and David wins in the end. But if you were to look at the situation in the beginning, you'd say David doesn't stand a chance. This is an absolute one-sided event.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, God wins in the end. I'm a very spiritual person. I used to be an atheist, as you know. God led me to chair. God comes to me in the sky in the form of clouds, and you can see his face very clearly. That picture has been passed around more than a joint at a Grateful Dead concert, okay? And I can tell you that it's very clear. The XRP logo in the sky, you got the face of God next to, and I'm an atheist. Why did God come to me? Why did God lead me to the chair? Why does God come into me in the sky saying, hey, you got to go sell the XRP to the little people? Because he knows when he chooses Mel Carmine, he's got a real soldier on his hands. I don't play around. When I'm sold on something, I was a Bitcoin guy. I was not a Bitcoin Nancy, but I was able to accumulate 3 Bitcoins through mining. And then we sold those Bitcoins. And when I realized, my wife talked me into the fact that it's XRP and not Bitcoin. And I realized, and the light bulb went off. When we had that major bull run in 2017, 2018, you know what we did with those Bitcoins? We took them and we sold them. We bought a lot of XRP at the height. We sold pretty high. Okay. I won't tell you the numbers, but they were pretty high. And we've been accumulating ever since because we understand the writing on the wall. We're here to collect. We understand what this is. We know that this is a long-term waiting game. We never thought in our wildest dreams that we were going to come in 1 week and be very wealthy the following week, even though we've done very well. I used to be in silver, right? I used to have this, right? I used to have a bunch of these. I had 120 pounds of it in Costa Rica, and it was a slow boat to China. I bought it for $15.46. I remember the price, okay, with overspot. And I actually sold it back to the guy who told me how to bring it into Costa Rica legally, okay? And I took that money and I played in the crypto market. I took $6,000 of it, and it became $245,000. Then we took a lot of it and started putting into XRP. Then we started to mine Bitcoin, and when we learned about XRP, we put into XRP. But we knew that this was going to be an 8 to 10 year game, and sure we are. Here we are. We're ready to graduate. We're going into the 9th year. May 18th of next year is going to be 9 years that Mel Carmine and Amber are in XRP.
Mm-hmm.
That's a long time. We bought our first XRP at 0.002 of a penny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
$50. We bought 12,500 XRP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Those were the good days.
I wish I could go back in a time capsule, and I would sell everything and put it all in.
Well, I did actually with XRP, because my first purchase of XRP was 2016, and yeah, it would have been 2016 or the very beginning of 2017 would have been my first purchase. But I sold during the bull run, during the XRP bull run of 2017 and 2018 when we hit $3 and stuff of that nature. That was the point that I was like, all right, this can't continue. Went ahead and sold, and then I've slowly bought back in to get more than I had back at that point in time. But it was one that was very difficult to hold that long. And in all honesty, it's been very difficult to hold that long. Yeah, your conviction and that financial that investment hypothesis that you came up with at the beginning, you have to hold strong to it when it comes to something like this, because it's been 8 years or seven years at this point of real stagnation.
Yeah. Well, look, the Bitcoin came about because they had a financial crisis. And I always tell the story, and this is more for your audience than mine. My audience knows this story ad nauseum. But in 1988, Satoshi Nakamoto puts a patent on blockchain technology, aka David Schwartz. I'm the guy who cornered him in Vegas, and that video went hyper viral. It got picked up by, I don't know, 172 channels on Twitter. There was channels that had like millions of views on that one little short video when I cornered him, and he admitted to me at the end that yes, I might be one of the main Satoshis. Okay, he puts a patent on blockchain technology in 1988. Then he goes to work for DARPA as a consultant. He's there 2007, 2008, 2009. All right, 2007, 2008. What happens? The housing bubble. 2009, Bitcoin is born. You think there's a coincidence? None. Yeah. Zero. Bitcoin doesn't work because it's too slow. It costs too much money to move from point A to point B. It's still at 3 transactions per minute, even though millions of programmers around the world have tried to create something called the Lightning Network. To no avail, it doesn't work. The Lightning Network is an abject failure. Okay, and therefore they had to go back to the drawing board and fix Bitcoin. Who could fix Bitcoin? David Schwartz, aka Satoshi Nakamoto. They download him with the freaking XRP. Voila, you got XRP. XRP will be the final Bitcoin 5.0 on steroids. There's no question about it. But you got to have the staying power.
Yeah, you definitely do. Now I know I'm pretty diversified on it. That would be something I think that we are a little different on. I'm not only ISO tokens. I do have some other ones that I think serve purposes in the long term, in the future financial system.
Right.
I do think that there are some, but that really draws me to kind of wondering and thinking about when it comes down to gold and silver and the idea of backing these currencies up. I know that that's something that to my knowledge, you've talked about a good bit, and I would be very curious to get to kind of hear your opinion on that, because that's something that requires 2 or 3 steps. First things first, we need real precious metals. We need real resources, which we can't prove right now. We don't know what the U.S. government legitimately has. We don't know what any bank, corporation, industry, we really don't know. We don't know how much of the gold and silver that we think we own is real, because of the insane problem of paper silver and paper gold. And so we're going to have that solved. We're going to have to then revalue it because it's been suppressed for so long. And then we're going to have to place it in to some form of custody that is capable of supporting this massive change to the financial system. With that whole system, how do you see it going down? Do you see that kind of being the general process of we have steps that we're going to have to go through, and we should really be more interested at looking for that first step than we should be looking at, like, we shouldn't expect the price of XRP or of any of these different tokens to suddenly skyrocket. We should expect a conversation to start being had about the resources that would back it up.
How much gold we have, how much silver do we have, what is the real number, not the bullshit number, and how much is going to be allocated to the paper money, how much of it's going to be allocated towards the digital currency. But I think in the long run, the final end game, I think it's going to be the other way around. It's going to be the digital currency with the ISOs, the ones that have been proven specifically, that are going to be backing the gold and the silver. Have you ever hear that they're going to tokenize everything? Why wouldn't they tokenize silver and gold? Why wouldn't they put silver and gold on the blockchain? Wouldn't that be that's the other way around? That means that the XRP and the XLM and the XDCs are going to be backing the gold, the silver, the copper, what have you? Very possible, right?
So, and it's one that's in, and this is something I've actually written code to do this, to tokenize a silver ounce. And, I know that's something that XRP is talking about on the XRP ledger, is the idea of having XRP silver, XR silver, or XR gold. And that's something that, they're talking about and they're having a conversation about. But what to me is even more kind of mind-blowing and revolutionary is the idea of tokenizing and monetizing things as assets that have never really been viewed that way.
Right.
Think about tokenized debt. They're going to tokenize their debt. It's absolutely going to happen. When you go to take out a loan and you come up short on it, in the same way that lending companies today package debt and sell it between each other, it's going to turn into something that's decentralized.
Sure.
Your house deed to your house, they're going to tokenize it.
Everything is about to change, buddy. And a lot of people who are not willing to, because this takes a lot of brain power. You're a brainiac. I'm a little bit of a brainiac, but I'm a little bit older than you. I'm probably your father's age. How old is your dad?
Oh yeah, he'd be in his late 50s. I don't know when it comes to that one. Am I?
I just hit 61, so you know what I mean.
I don't want to rat him out. I don't know.
I hear you. But look, I like going back to the ISOs, non-ISOs. I also own a few of the non-ISOs. I own VeChain. I own Casino Coin, which is a carbon copy of XRP. A lot of people don't know that. They just basically just say, "Hey, this one works. Let's just copy and paste this one and let's run with this one," right? Obviously, it's a little more involved than just that. But they decided that's the one that had a massive learning curve, but that's the one they decided to run with. And so, I'm sure there's going to be other tokens that are not yet part of the ISOs that at some point may very well be part of the ISOs. VeChain, I suspect, will be one of them. And right now, there's
some that have fundamental value, and there's so many that just don't. There's so many that really don't have fundamental value. They provide nothing.
Exactly.
And that's I think that's just kind of a part of the process, though, because this technology is new, it is revolutionary, and governments are terrified to touch it, or at least they have been, unless it's a matter of just telling you not to touch it. Yeah. And so we have kind of lived in the Wild West.
Yeah.
I'm certain you remember the ICO days of 2016, 17, and 18, where anything and everybody that had an idea was out there, and you threw $100 in, and you either made 100 grand, or guess what? You don't have $100 anymore. There
Right.
was no in between. You didn't put into one of those and the next day have the same amount that you had the day before. It was all or nothing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they call them rug pulls, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've bought into one or two more than I care to remind myself about when I think about the amount of money that the computer screen told me I had.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, how about all the glitches? I mean, what do you make of that? All the glitches, Zester?
Glitches in terms of
Yeah, the XRP price tags. We've had, 72,000 glitches in the last 10 years.
yeah, and that one, and a lot of it in terms of the XRP ledger, in the way that they've been expanding and decentralizing it, because originally it was an entirely centralized system. The mechanism to verify a transaction, because XRP utilizes a consensus mechanism. It's a different technology than proof of work that Bitcoin works on, or proof of stake like Ethereum works on. It's a different system. And so I think that process of actually evolving over, they've been adding in more and more validator nodes. And that process, I think, has been what's resulted in a lot of oddities in terms of XRP. And I do think that there's something to be said that even XRP is trying to get the bad actors out. Look at Chris Larson. Talk about somebody that that ticks me off in a heck of a way. The supposed co-founder of XRP, he is not. He says he's a co-founder, but if you actually look back through the history, he's not. He's just a guy who had a lot of money, and he jumped in, donating $1.9 million to Kamala Harris's presidential campaign, when we know that if we continue down this path, that nobody's making money if Biden and Kamala are running the show. It's not happening. And so I do wonder on that one. That would be something I would also be kind of curious. What do you think's going on there? Because that's not a logical thing.
Is it a publicity campaign to sort of put XRP on the map by donating to the wrong side? You got to ask yourself that question, right? Or is he a flaming liberal, which he looks and smells and walks and talks and feels like a flaming liberal? To me, I don't have any way of knowing that. I don't know what his political stance is, but I could tell you that that's what I get from him.
Yeah, no, I think that they've kind of given up trying to even hide it. They still do the dog and pony show every once in a while to talk about freedom and these liberal values, but they've changed all the words up. It's just pandering.
Yeah, it's been a word game from get-go, man. I was watching a video with Grant Cardone just the other day. What an incredible interview. I'll send you the interview. And there's a point in there where he says, I would never send my kids to school and go, and he is actually homeschooling all his kids now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The educational system has become a laughing stock. Anybody who takes, hundreds of thousands of dollars and sends their kids to a college today, you're wasting your money. I think you can learn more from YouTube listening to guys like me and you, to be honest with you.
Right. And nowadays, education and information are free. The only thing that we got with that is that we got the responsibility of having to actually look through the information and validate it ourselves. But all we really learned is we should have been doing that the whole time. We trusted these institutions in a way that we should never have done it. We should never have been trusting these higher institutions. They were designed and set there for indoctrination, not for education. They want us to be very, very good robots, and we do the jobs, and we supply them. And when I say them, the elites and the people at the top of the system, we supply them with the workers and the wealth that they desire. And so all they really did was tricked us into paying for our own poison. and then consuming it. And for some reason, we even got to the point, and it's still very much a thing where folks that have gone in, they've drank the pill, they're fully in, they're fully into the Kool-Aid, where there's a superiority complex even to it. It's an insane degree to which they've managed to indoctrinate us into truly believing their garbage,
Yeah.
and just repeating the mistakes
Yeah.
of our ancestors, essentially, just allowing this to continue. And now we're at such a point where the internet and the educations that folks on here, like listening to you, Mel, going on there and being able to learn about anything, where now suddenly folks actually have the opportunity to wake up. Think about 2001, think about all the different crises of the past. It was not like we could really get together. What were you going to do? Go on to Messenger and send your girlfriend a message? Like, no, there was not just a way for us to really be able to educate and share information.
Completely correct. Completely.
Now we have.
I would give anything. I would give anything, Zester. No bullshit. And this is a compliment to you, obviously. I would give anything to have every kid your age to be as awake as you are.
Oh, that's going to take a lot. That's going to take a lot. But I do think there's something to be said there where I think we're waking up. It's something I've seen throughout other members of the generation, my peers, my friends, where the rubber's starting to meet the road, and people are starting to realize that they were lied to, and that they bought into the lies, and that in many ways they pushed those lies. They are responsible for other people falling into the system, and they're tired and they're done.
Yeah,
it's happening, but it's not happening fast enough. And so, no, I definitely appreciate that one, Mel, but I just wish we could get more folks.
Look, we have to, at this point, push the envelope. It doesn't matter if the normies short circuit. I couldn't give a shit, to be quite honest with you. If they can't handle what's going to literally evolve and manifest in front of their own very eyes, and then they realize, oh my God, med beds are real. Oh my God, flying machines are real. And even if it takes 3, 4, 5 years, it's okay. But all of this stuff is going to manifest under the right leadership, which will be Trump and whoever else is in place around the world who has their head screwed on straight on the same agenda, which I believe Nasara Jassara, whether you call it that or you call it something else. By the way, every attendee that is coming to the Nasara Jassara Summit, not the Quantum Summit 1776, they're going to get a Nasara Jassara audiobook. For all you guys who are lazy, don't want to read, you could download it onto your phone, okay, and play it on your car while you're driving 5 hours. By the time you get done getting from point A to point B, if you got a 4 or 5 hour drive, you have read the entire book through the audio. Okay.
Well, the only question I have, Mel, immediately is: did you voice the audiobook?
I did not.
Oh,
I did not.
I mean,
we have software for that.
To go get it.
Yeah. We have a software for that. And my time is so scarce these days. If there's anything that's scarcity, is my time. Everything else is abundant. Yeah. So
get rid of the scarcity mindset, abundant mindset, but scarcity of time is definitely
time. Yeah. If I could only clone myself if I could clone myself 9 times, it'd be problem solved.
Yeah. Whenever they got that one to release, I definitely, if I had a team of 4 or 5 Zachs, I feel like I would be getting enough done to move far more of the gauge in terms of the amount of information and knowledge that's out there and the education. A lot of this.
So do you guys know what you want to speak when you're on stage with your dad in regards to when you get down to the Quantum Summit? By the way, guys, the website is quantumsummit1776.com.
Oh, and that'll definitely be in the description, everybody. I'll have that one linked, as well as links to go check out Mel on any and all of his social networks. And so don't worry, those will all be down there.
Awesome.
And hopefully pretty well organized. I know folks are going to be excited to go check out for the Quantum Summit, because it's going to be it's going to be a lot of fun. I know Pops and I are excited for it, and the opportunity to get to hang out with the community. And so I'm certain that Pops will be going through, and we'll get meet and greet type things for around those dates also,
Yeah.
for everybody. And so
Yeah,
definitely,
it's going to be an incredible opportunity for everybody to come down and meet their favorite podcasters, because even Nino Rodriguez is going to come to the event. Can you imagine? I finally got Nino Rodriguez. He said, "Yes, Mel, I'm coming."
hey, that's awesome. I'm certain that the list will grow, but I know that's on the website, I believe, so folks will be
Yeah,
able to see that
it's
on
a
the
work in
website.
progress with all the speakers and pictures that are slowly trickling in. Amber will be adding those as we go. Dr. Sandra, the inventor of the EE system, will be there. Jason Shirka, the number one spokesman from Unified Healing, that works directly with Dr. Sandra, will be on stage. We have the who's who of the who's who. Are we going to, get rid of every single chair? Yes, every single chair will be accounted for and sold out way before March 8th and March 9th. I can assure you that. And we have a big room this time. We're talking 11,000 square feet. Okay, that's the room that we're holding this
Oh,
place.
wow.
It's a mammoth place. Okay, so it's about 851 chairs exactly, to be exact. That's setting them comfortably. If I want to squeeze them a little tighter together where you guys are not so comfortable, I could probably squeeze 1,000, but I'm not going to do that to you. So, but anyway, needless to say, I had a great time coming on your show, brother, for a change. And I look forward to having one with your dad soon. And we can definitely get the word out that there's going to be a celebration in Cape Canaveral, March 8th and March 9th, because I know that's exactly what it's going to end up being.
Yeah, no, I'm super glad to have you. I'm excited to get to go to the event and get to hang out with people. And I know also that we've got so many more things that we
Oh,
could
yeah.
definitely
Oh, by
talk
the way,
about and
before I
chat
forget,
on.
Amber is going to put the launch schedule of all of the rocket launches. So if all you rocket enthusiasts, the technology we haven't needed in about 100 years, that gets launched into maybe something that will hit the firmament for those of you guys who are flat earthers. By the way, we're probably gonna have a couple flat earthers there as well. Why not, right?
Hey, it was a really fun crowd
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
last one that I was at. And it was technology. It was what the mainstream
Everything.
would go with conspiracy theorists. It was all over the place, and it was a lot of fun. They were very, very knowledgeable speakers,
Yes.
very,
Yes.
very knowledgeable speakers, and a lot of interesting personalities
Oh,
in between as well, which
and then you throw Dr. Jan Helper Hayes in there, and you got a party.
Dr. Jan is the absolute best. I love getting to hang out with her. She is a firecracker. I don't know if I'd say a firecracker. She's a stick of dynamite. She's
Absolutely.
TNT. Her
Yeah.
her her initial should have been TNT, because it's absolutely
Yeah, she's amazing.
her
I love her.
personality, and you don't pull one over on her. She knows what she's
No
talking
way.
about.
Yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah.
I'll give people though a bit of a heads up on what I do think I would probably be talking about, and something I'd love to actually get another chance to chat with you on, Mel, is at the summit, the gold reevaluation bill that's inside of the Bitcoin National Reserve Act put forth by Cynthia Loomis and
Mhm.
supported by Donald Trump. It calls for the removal and revaluation of all Federal Reserve gold from all of the banks and back to the Treasury, and then to be reallocated, essentially bankrupting them. I want to have that. That's the conversation. I'd love to
Let's have
make
that
a video
conversation.
with you on it.
Send me some information on that so I can get schooled on it as well, and this way I can have an intelligent conversation with you. So I don't know everything about everything. I do know a lot about a lot, but not everything about everything, right?
No, true, and it is. I feel the same way. Sometimes people bring up some obscure crypto, and I'm like, I know I've been around here a lot and I know a lot, but I'm gonna have to look it up. And that's one.
Exactly.
It's in the public space. It's And to me, it's mind blowing. It's all of the things that we've been talking about for years and years and years, and it fits in to an entirely new financial system, and it's just out there. But they're keeping it down. They don't want to talk about it. It's obviously a no subject for mainstream media, and so that means we need to cover it because people need to know what's going on. And so I'm probably going to talk about that at the summit, but hopefully by then it's a moot point and I don't need to have that conversation because the bill's already going to be out there in the mainstream and people are already going to be talking about it. So I'd love to get you for that one. I'll send along that information.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can get something else for your community and mine to check out and enjoy, because there's a lot to dig into.
100%, brother. I had a blast. I knew that this was going to be fun. I didn't think it was going to be that much fun, but I had a blast, really. And you're definitely a chip off the old block. Even that laugh reminds me of your dad.
Yeah, I have a hard time.
No paternity test needed. You're his son.
Yeah. He did not need a paternity test. Yeah. And I don't need the last name for people to know.
Yes.
It's one of those immediate ones, like, I feel like I've met you before.
Exactly. Sounds good, brother. Thank you for your invitation.
Pops is just holding back the MedBed information. That's the conspiracy I've heard from somebody, is that Pops and I are just the same person. He just uses the MedBed to age down, and I record my video, and then he uses the MedBed to age back up, and he records his video. So
there you go.
There's the real conspiracy. There's the real one.
There you go. But there is a MedBed video that Jason Shirka just did, the real truth about MedBeds or whatever. I'll send you the video. It's a 28-minute video, actually.
I'd love to check that out.
Yeah, and he did an actual podcast that's going to be on his private television channel, I think Unified TV, whatever. And then it's going to be released on YouTube probably 2 weeks later. But that's the one that everybody's jonesing to watch, because he's talking to this guy who's the head of TLS, who's the group of people that Dr. Sandra was working with, and Jason Shirka got recruited to go interview her, and then blew up the entire, EE system business, etc. So that's going to be very interesting, because there's some things that are real and some things there's some things that he says in the video that I particularly don't agree with, because I have other information from other reliable sources. And then there's information in there that he's talking about that I do agree with. Like, for example, it's not going to be free. Okay. A lot of people are hopeful that it's going to be free. Is it going to be affordable? I believe it's going to be affordable, but nothing on planet Earth will ever be free. Okay. Nothing. So thank you, brother, for inviting me. It was a pleasure and an honor, and let's do it again.
Oh, no, absolutely. And definitely. Thank you so much for joining. Looking forward to the next one. And remember, guys, there's going to be a ton of links down below to check out in regards to Quantum Summit. And I'm certain anything else Mel sends along that he wants to be down there for folks to check out, it'll be available. So please do look into that one. Other than that, hope everyone has got an absolutely blessed week in front of them. And I will talk with you soon. See you guys.